Food is great and all, but have you ever been sick from eating out? Me too. Hi, my name's David, and I'm here to talk about food safety. Today I'll be covering 3 points, foodborne illnesses and what they are, um, the principles of food safety and how to protect yourself, and then also who facilitates or uh, makes up these food regulations here in America. First, let's delve into foodborne illnesses. So, foodborne illnesses uh, is a sickness caused by food contaminated with bacteria or other toxins that, when ingested, make you sick. This can last for up to 24 to 48 hours, and a lot of the symptoms include like vomiting, diarrhea, like the worst stuff, like fevers. You can get muscle aches, um, nausea is really big, and sometimes it can even last longer than those 48 hours, man. It's not a fun time. If you've ever had food poisoning, not a fun time. Um, where does it come from? From a whole bunch of different things. It can simply be that someone was cross contaminating, which we'll talk about in the next point, or like you're not cleaning your surfaces, or something very basic like you're not washing your hands. But that moves us on to our next point, which are the key principles of food safety or how to protect yourself, right? So the CDC recommends that you wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. Um, in elementary school, I was taught to sing the ABCs, and I've always done that, really slowly, making sure to hit those high points where I know that I use, my hands everywhere. Some people are just like, hey, I'm invincible. I don't need to wash my hands. Let me touch this dirt. Let me touch this food. And those things just like that, are so simple and so underrated. That's what's transferring that bacteria. Um, Another thing that a lot of places do, working in food service, is temperature control, keeping your meat frozen until it's ready to be prepared, and then creating expiration dates through federal regulations. At my specific restaurant where I work at, we keep anything frozen in between -8 degrees and 8 degrees Fahrenheit, just about, and then anything that's like made to order or supposed to be fresh. In between 36 degrees and 41 degrees Fahrenheit. We have an expiration date, and it's usually up to 5 days on any given product in our store. And after that, we toss it. You know why? Because food safety is important. And those are just some of the guidelines that we follow as a restaurant. As I mentioned, cross contamination is one thing that could happen. Cross contamination is a transfer of bacteria unnoticed to another food. So, for example, if you were like making some chicken and you took the raw chicken and you put it in a bowl and you rinsed it, and you were keeping it in that bowl, you moved it out the bowl, and instead of rinsing that bowl or that surface that you were making that chicken on, you just kept going to work. You cut up some vegetables in that bowl. Now, that bacteria that was on the chicken, even though you washed it, is now contaminated on that food. That is what cross contamination is. So, a lot of places have regulations, rules to make sure that doesn't happen. Like, for example, when we're prepping, you prep one thing at a time. You do your meats, you do your veggies, you do, you know. But these are just some of the things that we can do amongst, other tiny things. But these are the main ones that will reduce your risk of getting a foodborne illness. Food safety is important. Lastly, food safety regulation. What is that, right? So those are the laws and administrative rules that regulate all aspects of the food supply chain. That chain includes any suppliers of that food, the companies that produce it, so your production and then your distribution, how it's sold, whether it be a grocery store, whether you go out, whether you DoorDash it. Um, why is it important to maintain food safety? The CBS News surveyed in 2019, and it said that 54% of Americans eat out, dine in, or deliver some form of food two to three times a week, which is kind of high. But as a e-commerce world, especially with like COVID coming on and stuff, it's hard to like mitigate how you go about getting your food, right? So the information that I'm giving you today is just one step to help you be more conscious of how you should be handling and preparing food when you get it. Who regulates these things, right? Who are these people? Well, there are two major departments that regulate food safety and food production and quality control. And the first one is the FDA, or the Food and Drug Department, or the Food and Drug Administration. Um, they handle all food product quality. Um, if anything seems a little off or they notice bacteria growing, they are the people that send out the recalls to all grocery stores or all restaurants, letting them know you got a bad supply of meat, you can't serve that. And they're really good about their job. Another place is the USDA, or the United States Department of Agriculture, and they provide leadership on food and nutrition standards. They are the people who set those standards to make sure that people are maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and how much of what you can put in what foods. Um, these people are here to protect us, and they provide compliance in the U.S. for uh, product control so that people aren't getting sick. It's not often that people do get sick from food now with today's standards, but you still never know, you know? And this is why we have these safety rules and guidelines to protect us. Some of the sanctions that they might give out if you're not following, their compliances. They do inspections, making sure that your building's clean and you're keeping up to date with all of their compliance stuff. If you're not, they take it a step further and they might ticket you and fine you for not following their compliance. They can even go as far as to shut you down if you are not doing what is safe for the well-being of the community that you're serving. Um, so, in conclusion, food safety is a paramount to safeguarding the public health and well being. We've explored the risks associated with foodborne illnesses, the critical principles of food safety, and the role of regulations. And by understanding these elements and following best practices, we can minimize the threat of foodborne illnesses and create a safer, healthier environment for everyone. Thank you